Hi everybody. Today we're going to do a video about colouring Betsy. Now, those of you who've seen my videos before will know that I always smudge root and low light my pieces, and the reason for that is because I like to wear blonde pieces, but I am really a brunette underneath. So over the last couple of days, this is what I've done to this more shortbread 14-inch. I have darkened the root to resemble my own hair colour, and also, rather naughtily, I have put some more blonde highlights through, so you can see the very light pieces that I put through shortbread are the ones that I have added. Now, we don't advise people to do that. We always say, if you want light pieces in your hair, buy a lighter piece and add dark. But you know, if I don't do these things, then nobody would really know what the consequences or the risks are. So let's see how she pans out. But I must admit, I used a low percentage developer, only a 6%, and a fairly standard bleach, and left it on for 15 minutes. I wasn't looking for a bright white. I just wanted to put some light and shade, more light and shade into this piece. So just a smattering of blondness. Now, in order to do the same, well, actually we're going to smudge root and low light this linen piece, which is a 10-inch piece. Actually, this is a large base piece that we're doing for a client that we saw last week, and they're going to have it in crumpet. So we're going to smudge root and low light in a darker blonde shade, and the shade we're going to use is this Casting Cream 700. This is what they call dark blonde. It comes out quite warm in on Betsy, particularly on the linen, which is quite light. A couple of other pieces of equipment that we're going to use is, we're going to use one of these highlighting brushes and a plastic bowl. Now, you probably don't have one of these in your home, but if not, it's worth just investing. They're only £1, and this will make the whole process a lot simpler. Don't need to worry about the bowl though. Any bowl will do, providing it's not metal, so any plastic or porcelain receptacle will be absolutely fine. I'm going to use a cork head, which is currently sporting a Spa and Superdrug outfit. This is just to protect from the dye. I don't want to get dye all over the head. And that's in a box which keeps it, which I can sort of angle and keep stable while I'm doing this. The other thing I'm going to use is a comb with a nice pintail on it, and I'm going to be using the gloves from the box as well, or from the dye box. So let's crack on. So firstly, I'm parting the hair from front to back. I normally start at the middle and then work one side and then the other. So we're going to paint the dye onto the hair, making sure that we completely cover both sides. We don't want any light patches in the parting area. But if you do, don't worry, because you can cover those up later. Once that's done, turn your brush the other way, and then with the dry brush, go over the dye, making sure you're feathering the colour outwards and blending. Then, using your pintail comb, make a section 1 centimetre wide from front to back, part again, and then repeat. Painting the dye on. And blending. Just a word about the cork head. It's not necessary for you to use a cork head. You can just lay the piece flat on a piece of plastic so as to protect the surface that you're using. If you put something soft underneath, like a cushion, you could even pin the piece to that cushion to make it more secure. And then you can do this process exactly the same whilst Betsy is flat. Okay, so in the grand tradition of Blue Peter, here is one I did earlier. So here you can see the smudge root, and if you look at the base, you'll note that the dye has dyed the bottom, the underneath too. To be honest with you, don't worry, it makes absolutely no difference to the wearing. It's just one of the consequences. It's much more important to make sure that you cover all of the hair rather than try not to put dye on the underneath. Okay, we'll talk about that a bit more later. So here I have a 10-inch piece. This was a linen, just like the last. So we've smudge rooted it, and now we're going to low light it with the same colour. There's a couple of things that we need in addition to what we had earlier, and that is I use bits of plastic. Now, professionals use foils or various other meshes and all sorts of things. I recycle some of the bags that we get our product in. I hate to let plastics go to just be single use, so we try and use as many of them as possible, and we reuse them. We wash and reuse. So all I've done is I've cut up some narrower strips to do the narrower parts, and I have some wider strips to do the wider parts. So let's carry on. So I'm just sectioning off the hair into 3 sections, a section at the back and one at either side. And here I'm just painting the colour onto areas that I can just see I've missed. So now we'll start slicing into the back section, and we're going to create 6 slices. So that's the 6 that we leave untouched, and then we weave this piece, take out the hair that we're not going to colour, place the plastic wrap beneath, and then paint the colour on, making sure that you cover all of the hair. And then simply fold up, that's the piece that we're not going to dye, and then weave into the other piece. Now you can make the low lights as chunky or as fine as you wish. At this point I just sort of do a medium. We do about 30% when we're doing low lights. It's again just painting the colour on. So like I said, we've split the back into 6 sections, 3 of which we'll colour and 3 of which we won't. And this is the final section on the back. So now we're moving on to the front, and we're taking out the front sections because most clients like those to be kept very blonde. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that last. And we're splitting each side section into 4 parts. So here we're just highlighting the 3rd part, the 4th part is the end, at the bottom. Then we'll leave the 2nd part free and then do the top part. And the same on the other side. So again into 4 sections. 1 is the top, 2, 3, and the 4th one is what's left beneath the 3rd one. It's a similar, exactly the same as what we did at the back. I have to excuse my dog. I hope you can't hear him munching his biscuits. Oslo is hungry, obviously. So here we come to the front, and we're just going to very finely weave that so that most of the front is very blonde. Leave for 30 minutes. So here she is, my lovely crumpet. Now I've just put some oil through her, and she'll gently absorb that over the next few hours, and tomorrow she will go off to her new owner. Alright, well that's enough from me. I hope to see you soon, and take care.